Hello, this is Crispin Flintoff from Not the Andrew Marr Show. Before this video starts, I'd just like to ask if you'd subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because we will be covering the general election from a totally different perspective from what you get from the mainstream media. We'll be talking about the candidates who are taking on Labour and the Tories and pushing them all the way. So please subscribe and get updates. You were a Labour councillor not too long ago, and I think you resigned, and we heard about that resignation at the time. It was 2020, was it?
I think it was 2020. Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, obviously, I'd made the decision to resign. The things Starmer was doing, I couldn't be part of it. But my wife Nikki was a councillor as well, and she resigned before me. She's cleverer than me. She went to grammar school, and I hardly went to school.
Right, and since then, have you sort of not been sure what to do with anything? I suppose there's been no alternatives really, until, I mean, the Workers' Party's come up, and Galloway winning in Rochdale was a big boost, wasn't it?
Yeah, I found it difficult to commit to a party. I was an individual member at Labour Party for 20 years, and I was an affiliated member through my trade union for 40 years. And I was so disillusioned, I found it so hard. But things have changed and something's got to happen now. And I remember coming back from a motorbike trip around the Highlands of Scotland, and went straight from there to campaign for George Galloway in Batley and Spen. And I really liked the atmosphere and the camaraderie in the Workers' Party at that time, but I weren't ready to join a party then.
And right, so can you tell us a bit about Doncaster and the political landscape there? Because it was Rosie Winterton's seat, wasn't it? The one that you're standing in. Was she a great servant of the? Was she a great servant of the city?
Well, Rosie Winterton. What people don't realise, Doncaster Central, it's seen as Labour through and through. We've only ever had 2 Labour MPs in Doncaster Central. Sir Harold Walker and Dame Rosie Winterton. I mean, I think the titles speak volumes, don't they? And what's interesting is both of them have been deputy speakers. So as deputy speakers, they're ex officio. So with both Sir Harold Walker and Dame Rosie Winterton, the people of Doncaster Central haven't even had a vote in Parliament. I also know that Rosie Winterton was the chief whip at the time of the chicken coup as well. I mean, Corbyn did get rid of her as the chief whip more or less straight after that. But I think it's time for people in Doncaster to have a choice. And the final straw is we get our free travel still on the train. And my wife Nikki and I, we've been to Skegness for the day. And coming back, the taxi driver from Doncaster station to home was somebody who recognised me from when I was the president of ASLEF and travelling from London to Doncaster a lot, an Asian guy. And he says, "Oh, I didn't recognise you at first. You know where to bring us and stuff." And we got talking. And he said that there is a feeling that if somebody stood from the Workers' Party in Doncaster, there would be a lot of support. Now, we've gone out, we've got the forms filled in, there's been people keen to fill the forms in. We have got some money trickling in on the crowdfunder. We'd like to see more coming in, obviously, and you can help with sending the link out, Crispin.
Yeah, well, I've just done that. I'll do it again now because you reminded me. I'll do it again. Here's the link again. Anyone watching it, the link's on there now. And I mean, the Gaza issue is the thing that it is unprecedented, that in an election there's a genocide going on that our country's supporting. I mean, if we can't make that issue big, then we're failing, aren't we? We've really got to make the most of this election campaign to tell people what's going on, because the media is not doing it, are they?
That's right, and I'll be leaving as soon as we finish this interview, Crispin. I'm straight off to a march for Gaza in Doncaster, so I'm pleased you've got me on so early. But yeah, it's horrendous. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe what I'm seeing on the TV every day, and I can't believe the callousness of our so-called political leaders. I can't believe that they're just allowing genocide to take place, and not just allowing it, enabling it, encouraging it in some cases. It's something that we've got to take charge of. I mean, one of the things I saw in the Workers' Party 10-point plan was the end of imperialist wars. Now, I'm not a pacifist. You know, I've been and spoke proudly on battlefields from the Spanish Civil War, the fight against fascism. Again, with the fight against fascism in the Second World War. What I find interesting that we look at the wars now, where we're pumping money into keeping wars going. Instead of pumping money into peace and love, we're pumping it into war and hate. And things I looked at recently was the Second World War and the Soviet Union's role in that. And they lost actually 8.7 million people. No, hang on. They lost 5.7 million ethnic Russians in that war. And they also lost 1.3 million ethnic Ukrainians in that war. Russians and Ukrainians standing together and fighting against fascism. And that's what we need to do, is get people to stand together, not let countries and leaders lead us into war, but the people to stand together. We need to be spending the money on building peace, not on continuing war.
Yeah. And we're on this show, we're covering all the protests against the genocide. And I mean, I don't think we should lose this opportunity in this general election to talk about that and to expose Starmer and Sunak. And there is some sort of infighting on the left about who's leading the alternative movement, but we've got to stop that, haven't we? We've got to unite against those two, haven't we?
That's right. And I've decided to join the Workers' Party. A big part of that, I've been very close to Chris Williamson for a very long time, a number of years. We did the Democracy Roadshow together, and that was about 6 years ago now, something like that. But we were actually fighting for more democracy in Labour Party. That's a joke, isn't it, to where they've gone now? But we have to get together, and whether it's somebody in the Workers' Party, whether it's somebody standing for Tusk, an independent, any of the organisations, we need to be there and we need to be fighting together. One day, hopefully, the left will come together. But at the minute, we have to put up with this Python-esque situation where we have lots of different parties, the People's Front of Judea and the Judea's People Front. But as long as we work together, as long as we embrace each other, because, it gets cold out there. And when it's cold, you need to huddle together. And that's what the left needs to do now. And obviously, I'm going to be busy working on my own campaign. I'm going to the march shortly and then over to Rotherham, to a Workers' Party meeting in Rotherham. But I think we need to all get together and huddle together. And let's not have any more factionalism. Let's not have any sectarianism. Let the left fight as strongly as the right does.
Well, Starmer's loving it if we're doing all that. I mean, it's just, I mean, the idea that he's sitting there, putting more bill cream in his hair while he reads our attacks on each other, it just drives me nuts. Thank you, Tosh. Good to see you.
Just one last thing, if I can say what you say there about the brill cream. A friend of mine, good friend and comrade of mine, used to say, the next time the fascists come, they won't come in uniforms. They'll be wearing suits. Well, these are becoming uniforms, aren't they? Blue suits, pointy shoes, and hair product on their hair. So anyway, let's hope we can give them a good kick in this election.
Yeah, that's why I'm growing my hair long like you, Tosh, so I don't look like one of them. Thank you.
My campaign. No haircuts till all the barbers are in public ownership.
Cheers, Tosh.